meme coin season. Market cap in the TVL flowing in. We crossed 3 trillion. It's a scam. National startup German DAO is shut down for selling securities to U.S. investors, and it's really hard to tell if they're real.
What are the things that really click in Orion's head when he's listening to the founder? Let's delve now into more your perspective into markets. Given that you already witnessed more than one cycle in crypto, how different this one is?
Yeah, so this cycle, I think the focus, it is different. Last time we definitely had in 2021, we had the excitement around DAOs, which generated a lot of businesses building tools for DAOs, tools for NFT launches. This time, some of the action there is a little more tamed. We are having quite an exciting, I'd say, meme coin season, which for us at Orange DAO, that's not really something that we focus on, right? Because we're interested in businesses building real value over time rather than just the speculative aspects. But so it is very informative to look at the market cap and the TVL flowing in. Last time in 2021, we got, I believe we crossed 3 trillion, or else we were very close to it. Very quickly over the last few months, basically since October, there's been a very steady ramp of capital flowing in. I think it was down to, I forget if it was 1.6 or 1.8, but now we've been back up to 2.8, 2.9, very close to the highs. I think we're at 2.5, 2.6 today. So I think the institutional capital truly is driving this market this time, right? Of course, we had the passing, the approval of the Bitcoin ETF. Now there's speculation around the Ethereum ETF, combined with the SEC's active perhaps pursuit of the Ethereum community and finding, what they're going to call it. So, I mean, I believe that an Ethereum ETF is coming, but not quickly. But there's kind of a time constant associated with these things, right? Knowledge is not dispersed immediately. People are busy. But through Schwab and these traditional channels, certainly BlackRock, Chase, Bank of America, almost everybody is participating in crypto to some degree, right? And so I think that type of institutional acceptance is extremely exciting. And it just gives an extremely long runway for crypto too. They're really just dipping their toe in the water, most of them, right? But this is just generating more acceptance over time. I'm still reminded, as somebody, like most of the people I talk to in life are in crypto, and it's certainly in Silicon Valley. A lot of people are familiar with it. A lot of people are all in on it. But outside of those circles, you realize that a lot of folks still think it's a scam or for illicit pursuits.
And just Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Everything is just Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's right. Or they call it Bitcoins, because they think it's all different types of Bitcoin. But exactly right. So these are also signals that we're just very early, and technology adoption takes time. You mentioned like Airbnb earlier, and that's a great example of an application that came out of the mobile revolution in the early or mid 2000s that really the newest applications that are the most exciting are not just the old application moved on chain. It's going to be something totally different, right? And Airbnb was something that came out of mobile computing. It wasn't just a smaller computer in your pocket, but it unlocked these possibilities. Same thing with Uber, right? Uber and Airbnb are two great examples of applications that couldn't exist really without mobile computing. And so it's exciting to see. I think the biggest ideas are going to be things that, they're not a translation from the past. They're something completely new.
Yeah. A quick question, like literally came to my head now when you were talking about SEC and regulation. Like founders like me, or among others, when they think about regulation and pitching investors about a product that they know that the regulation in the US is not there yet, right? How Orion approaches this? Like, do you pass directly, or do you tell the founders, hey, build the product, try to get the license, and then come back to me? or do you
Mm.
have another thesis on this? Like to make it clearer for, like, let's say, I don't know, a startup working on like fintech like product, but tackling DeFi, and it needs to onboard institutions in the US. But like there are specific licenses, let's say a broker dealer license
Hmm.
specifically for crypto is not tailored yet for such a startup, and they cannot get it for the upcoming 2 years. What Orion can say about this for the founders?
Yeah, those are great points. So we work closely with some founders where regulation could be impacting their
Yeah,
business. I'm glad you brought up the licensing. I was thinking primarily of like one major area of concern where there is regulation uncertainty is whether a particular token is a
yeah,
security or not,
exactly.
right? And so that's an area we've definitely talked to international startups that don't want to take sometimes don't want to take money from U.S. investors because they're concerned about how that could affect, right? I've tried to encourage them in that particular case. I don't think there's an issue because,
Yeah,
we're accredited investors, sophisticated investors. It's not the same rules that apply for the sale of securities to the general public.
yeah,
So you have to look at each rule individually. But to your point about license, right? There's broker dealer license, there's money transmitter license, depending on the business. If you're facilitating remittances, where the U.S. where customers are in the U.S. as a counterparty, then you could have that issue. And yeah, if you're not able to get that license, you either need to frame your business a different way or think about serving a different set of customers
yeah.
somewhere. So um, yeah, I think the regulations, as usual, are they are behind. I think it's important also to remind people, though, it's not like the SEC or has been ignoring crypto. It's complicated. It takes time to work it out. I believe it was called the DAO back in
Yeah,
2014 that was shut down. That's a long time ago. So the SEC has been paying attention to crypto since 2014. That was a German DAO that was shut down for selling securities to U.S. investors, and they were clearly securities. I mean, from the development of the market, I consider it unfortunate, but fair is fair, right? And so, Orange DAO, for example, we are fully compliant and have our unique structure set up the way we do to work with both traditional investors to receive LP capital and to be able to stay compliant for the future.
also I want to follow up on that, to say that people think, specifically people who work just in crypto and never been exposed to TradFi, people think that US regulatory bodies are against like licensing startups or like crypto businesses. However, it's more like in the US we have the world's most complex financial ecosystem, and it requires more than just like, hey, passing a bill. So I'm not like here defending the SEC or anything. I'm just saying it's way more complex than we think it
Mm-hmm.
is. However, definitely more efforts need to be taken on that aspect, and follow the pursuit of like Europe, like Mika and the DLT pilot regime, for example, to be more active on that aspect. Now, jumping more again into the founder aspect, given that Orion every day is pitched on the go by different founders, what are the market trends? What are you pitched the most today?
Yeah, I think RWA, real world assets, is one of the most common, and I think that's because so much can be lumped into that, right? That term is almost too broad, right? So this includes DPIN, decentralized physical infrastructure networks, right? Which could be, I mean, Helium is an early example of this, but now it's a lot of GPU applications, and then you get all these other infrastructure layers of, oh, we're the data virtualization layer, we're the data security layer, the privacy layer. It's like, well, we'll see. So,
Yeah,
um, but I do think that's a very important area. But yeah, and then RWA, even like a company that might be um, creating on-chain assets for a liquor company or something for marketing. Well, now that's RWA, right? Because it's linked to a physical product. So those are totally different businesses, right? So RWA almost doesn't mean anything on its own anymore.
when you are like approached by a founder, okay, what are the things that will let you listen when the founder is speaking? like you have barely 1 minute attention span, like it's the average human attention span. What are the things that really click in Orion's head when he's listening to a
Yeah. Yeah, and I might even have a below average attention span. So, uh, um, I yeah, definitely. Look for those unique insights
yeah,
where people, have learned something unique from talking to their customers already is ideal. We want to make sure that they are talking to customers. Um, so if they have some advantages and proof points, our fund, we tend to be more focused on technical solutions. DeFi usually requires technical solutions. So we do a bit less on the GameFi, gaming, and
yeah,
social side because I think it's really hard to predict what the next social network is going to be. So you end up in a place where you need to show the traction, like prove it. But there's a related problem in crypto now where everyone, many, let's say the market of consumers is very airdrop hungry, and
yeah,
so there's a lot of folks, or at least bots, that sign up for every app that comes along, and so sometimes somebody has 10,000 or 100,000 users, and it's really hard to tell if they're real. So
yeah,
um, so we look for someone who can present themselves and seem coachable and clearly articulate their idea. It's very important to have your one sentence pitch. A lot of times I might get a multi-paragraph email from a founder, and I'm trying to skim it, and I'm saying, "What do you do?" I don't know what you do.
yeah,
So I want to know what you do. I want to know what problem you're solving, and you want to be able to articulate this for yourself, right? And it doesn't work to say, "Oh, we're multifaceted. We are designed to solve all these problems." It's like, well, then you're not really targeted to
exactly.
focus on one of them, which frankly is just very important. So
It's literally kind of like inspired by the YC thesis that be perfect at it, that very, very, very niche thing. And then if you're able to solve a problem within this niche, you can expand and scale. So yeah,
yeah.
I really like that perspective. Uh, I'm not sure how relevant this question is, but like, what's different about crypto founders than traditional founders, be it fintech and other industries? What do you feel different about them?
I think the answer really changes with the market and how frothy it is. It's actually been uh, there's been a lot of positives for us as investors, and I think that they're positive for founders as well in the last year, where we really since early 2022, recognizing that we were in a bear market, you end up with more authentic people working on real things. And there's more noise to sift through when there's too much excitement about DAOs or NFTs or meme coins or RWAs. Not that there's certainly some RWAs that are very real businesses that are going to come out on top and drive real value. Um, but as far as for crypto founders, I mean, it can be very interdisciplinary, right? Whereas the fundamental technology is quite fundamental, and not everyone can understand it. Um, this also goes back to your comments about the evolution of the market and being early. We are at a point where um, you were asking, is the industry solving real problems or not? And right now, the industry has a lot of problems to solve that are its own problems that it created, right? And that's not a bad thing. That's just an evolution of the markets where, you think about some of the earliest successes in internet technology, call it Web 1 at this point, right? But back then was Cisco, Netgear, Oracle, of course, Microsoft. Um, Netscape, right? And these are all companies. Netscape built a consumer app, but the rest of them are more building infrastructure, and it was physical infrastructure. Nowadays, that infrastructure is digital, but it's building up all the layers that people need to be able to build crypto apps, dApps, more easily, right? And so everyone's scrambling to do this, and so it's different this time because there's lessons learned from the past, but you still don't know. Everyone wants to carve out their own piece of the market, whether it's a chain or a layer or a data aggregator that can capture value. Um, and so I think again, it's very interdisciplinary, where crypto founders need to have an understanding of their trajectory and what's coming next in the market, because it is small, but there's a lot of like focused energy going in different directions. Um, and so for founders who can grok that, then that's powerful, right? So I guess the last thing I want to say about it is the value of the founders being able to start community and understand community.
So,
And pretty much every crypto project, even if it's institutional, probably has an aspect of community in order to cause success.
100%, 100%. And this is the whole idea about the core businesses in crypto, about scalability.